Hey everybody, welcome to the Stash Project Stash Report November Mass Information Video, or November Wrap-Up, or November Rodeo. However you want to look at it. What we're going to do here is get out the notebook of knowledge and look at everything that is planned, scheduled to come out in the month of November in the year of 2014. We have quite a pile of stuff, both foreign and domestic. As always, we'll start domestic side so that everybody who doesn't build imports can tap out after a few minutes and go do something else. Well, actually, there's not really that much to talk about. Well, okay, there is, but there isn't. So, round two. We'll start there. Round two has one model kit coming out in the month of November, and that is going to be a 1/32nd scale Studebaker Avanti. Now, these are old tools from back in the 60s. They were called 1/32nd scale stars, and according to the Round 2 website at least, this is the first of that series. Now, how many of these they actually really plan to put back out or still have tooling that's in serviceable condition for is anybody's guess, other than, I guess, Tom Lowe and the people that run Round 2. There are no future 1/32nd scale kits in the first quarter 2015 information that we have available to us, or any of the second quarter stuff that we've seen a text list, but we're not exactly sure if that's actually a legitimate list or not. Right now there's a 2015 Revell flyer floating around on Facebook and other places that is completely and totally fake. I hate to break it to you. If you've seen this thing and it has like I guess it's a Dodge Swipeside with a campered shell and a satellite wagon and a 52 Buick and a Bugatti Veyron and a whole bunch of other stuff on it. It's fake, guys. It just is. Think about what you know about Revell, setting aside accuracy or anything like that. Just know what you know of Revell, how many new tools, honest to God, new tools they put out a year, how many revised tools they put out a year. Look at that flyer that has, of course, no legal things about any of the copyrights or trademarks of the companies involved. And, it's obviously fake. It's a nice list in the sense that I probably would buy one of everything that's on it, but it's not real. So if you see something floating around that says 2015 Revell second quarter releases, it's fake. The second quarter release information is more than likely not going to be available to the general public until late January, early February of 2015. They tend to release their information about 60 days in advance of the next quarter. We just saw that with Revell for the first quarter. That's January, February, March. They released it at the beginning of November, about 2 months in advance. So, like I said, round two, all they've got is this 1/32nd scale Avanti. There is a pile of stuff coming for December. There's probably about 5-6 kits maybe. Depending, again, we said before, round two doesn't necessarily stick to their release schedule in a concrete manner. Some of those December kits may come out in November ahead of schedule. It all depends on what the production facility that they're using is doing. Over at Revell is putting out nothing but reissues in November, and I would say nothing but reissues in November being very poignant because literally this stuff is stuff that just came out, reissues. They're going to do another version of the Audi R8. This one's going to be molded in blue. This is the 7-8 piece build and play kit. I've heard from some people that instead of just having a flat blank chassis pan the way the 2015 Mustang does, that the chassis pan for the Audi actually has some chassis detail to it. I have no intention of going to buy one to find out, but that's what I've heard. They're going to be releasing a pre-painted in black 2013 ZL1 Camaro and a molded or a pre-painted in orange. These are painted; they're not molded. You can strip the paint off them. Molded in orange 2013 Dodge Challenger SRT8. Now, of course, they just released those back in September, October, and they're releasing them again in different colors. So, in case you didn't like red or blue, now you get your choice of black or orange. So, be that as it may, I would personally, I don't know if any plans to release the Dodge Challenger. I said Dodge Charger, didn't I? Well, it's an orange Dodge Challenger SRT8, not a Charger. But anyway, so the Challenger, I don't see them releasing in a molded in white condition. There doesn't seem to be anybody calling for it. Because obviously there was the 2009 Challenger SRT8 full-on model kit, and there's nothing really different about the pre-paint other than the full detail kit, other than a set of, the wheels are different. And that's pretty much it. But there is going to be, in the first quarter of 2015, there will be a molded in white with real decals Chevy Camaro ZL1. So if you do not want to buy those pre-paints, and you have not bought a pre-paint yet, just hang out. Coming sooner than later, sometime between January and the end of March, going to get one that has no paint on it at all, molded in white with actual water slide decals. That's what I've been waiting for as far as buying one. Still don't know if I'm really going to buy one or not, because I have the round 2 showroom replicas car, and I don't know that I need 2 ZL1s. If the motor is really that important to me, it'll be one of those things I decide when that time comes. But the only other kit that Revell has coming out in November would be the old Monogram 1/24 scale Porsche 911 Turbo. It's supposed to be representing like a 1987 911, which puts it right in that same ballpark with the Tamiya Snap Tight 1988 Porsche 911. There is a cat causing problems behind me. I don't know why she suddenly has this unnecessary urge to tromp through all of the debris on the floor, all the shipping boxes I have slated up for trading and selling stuff. Well, she decided that now, in the last couple of videos, she's going to start tromping through those while we're talking. God bless cats, you know? They're just fantastic little creatures. And that's it as far as domestic kits go. Revell of Germany should have the Porsche 911 Carrera convertible coming out. There's also going to be the VW Golf, the Mark I, version 1, generation 1 Golf, that cabriolet. You may recall that last month they were going to put out their GTI. This month is the cabriolet. That is not a GTI. It is just a regular run-of-the-mill Volkswagen Golf cabriolet. These two kits, I was looking at PDFs of the instructions today, actually, are wildly different between the two as far as parts go. The interiors are completely different between the two kits. The engines are like basically the same, but beyond the basic block and things like that, they are different individually between the two. The GTI and the regular cabriolet had different engines in them, or at least different top ends to the engines as far as parts content goes. You'll see when you get these kits, either don't know. Well, I'm going to assume that the cabriolet is not going to be reboxed by Revell USA. The same way the Beetle cabriolet was not reboxed by the Revell USA people, because it is not on the first quarter 2015 releases. And Tower Hobbies has it and the Golf GTI available for pre-order for December delivery, which is about right, because these two kits are coming out the end of November, middle of December, somewhere between the both of them. And so by the time they ship them over here and they get stocked into like Stevens and Hobbico and everybody else, it'll be December before they would hit your hobby store shelves. Now remember, some point in the future, right now it looks like it's slid to January, perhaps end of December, but more than likely January. There's going to be a U.S. spec Volkswagen Rabbit. Now I say U.S. spec with the big air quotes because it's not going to be. These kits are designed much like the Beetle was, that there is a European spec and British spec, UK spec vehicle. So there's a left-hand drive and a right-hand drive to them. And that's it. There's nothing about these parts looking at either model kit that would indicate them to be U.S. spec. It's going to be a European spec car with a new sheet of decals. And that's all there is to it. And, I know people will invariably get all bent out of shape and pissed off about the fact that they didn't create a U.S.-specific tool kit, man. They're not going to. It's Revell of Germany. They don't give, really two craps whether they sell kit here or not. They're not marketing them here. They're marketing them to Europe, and they're marketing them to Asia. We're sort of a secondary downstream market, and for the most part, anything that Revell of Germany wants to sell here, they sell through Revell of US, especially now that Hobbico owns both companies. Saw on Tower Hobbies that there is, for I believe January, and we'll talk about it more in the 2015 first quarter video, there's going to be a 25th anniversary of the Berlin Wall coming down, Trabant Universal. Now, what this is going to be, I don't know. There was at one point a old Trabant. Now, I remember there's like the Trabant 601 limousine. Limousine, that's great. I know it's a German term for sedan, but you know, when you think about a Trabant, the less you think about it as a limousine. But the 601 S had a old curbside, really simplified, not that many part kit, and then they had that brand new tooled Trabant that they did probably about 4 years ago now. And the old one, the old like curbside one, was packaged in some sort of Art Deco wall coming down box at some point in the past. So I don't know if this is going to be the same thing where it's going to be like, you know, graffiti painted for the wall coming down, decals. What exactly about it is different, because as far as Tower Hobbies is showing, they're just showing a blank white Trabant Universal with images to come written across it in like a watermark. So there's no information about that on Revell of Germany's website itself. So I am completely at a loss as to what this is going to be we'll find out when it comes out, I guess. So that takes care of domestic side. Moving across the Pacific, we've got Aoshima, we got Fujimi, you got Hasegawa, you got Tamiya, and you got B-Max. Lots of stuff coming out in November. Get your Christmas shopping done early. We'll start B-Max. B-Max is going to be putting out their second version of their ST-165 Celica GT4 rally car. This one being done for the 1991 Monte Carlo Rally. Also being done with a tarmac chassis setup. So this kit is essentially the same one that came out last year, but it's going to have a new parts runner full of asphalt-based rally parts, new suspension parts, and because the Monte Carlo Rally is also run partially at night, it'll have new night lighting package for it. So basically the same kit, but this time with a couple new parts. Now, I said there's a trilogy of these. What the third one will be, don't know yet. The first one was an Australian rally car. This one, rally car of Monte Carlo. There's also a specific photo etch detail upset to this that B-Max via Aoshima does, and that'll also be coming out with that kit. Tamiya, we mentioned in the weekly video yesterday that the 112 scale Team Lotus Type 49 1967 F1 car was pushed back into November. This is a kit from 1973. It is big scale, 112, and it's going to have like new photo etch for it, and that's pretty much it. There's some etch parts, there's some new parts. I believe they're getting new decals put on it and stuff like that. So, you know, that's what that is as far as, being new. There also, the other thing that's going to be coming out here is going to be the Subaru BRZ Street Custom. Now, this is essentially the same Subaru BRZ kit that came out back, I guess it would be 2 years now. With some new parts, there's new wheels, there's new ground effects, there's a wing, some decals and stuff like that. Go back beginning of last month sometime, might be either the first or the second week of October, and we have pictures of it. So go back, find that video, go watch that. I wasn't going to dredge up every single image that I've had. Go back and look for it. If you need to, go to HobbyLink Japan, go to Hobby Search Tamiya BRZ Street Custom, it'll be there. But like I said, some new parts here. There's will be some photo etch added to it, and new decals added to it. Other than that, it's not anything significantly new. There is not going to be, for instance, left-hand drive North American spec parts in it. It is just a straight reissue of those kits. Now, the thing to remember, of course, about the Tamiya 86 and BRZ is that they are JDM only. They have engines. And, of course, the Aoshima kits have engines if you buy the right kits, but they are JDM only. They are only right-hand drive. We have JDM or possibly, I guess, UK spec. But technically, they're Japanese spec cars. So there's that to look forward to if you want to look forward to it. Hasegawa, the Sunny pickup truck. Well, we just said in the video here this yesterday that came out yesterday. So that's out. The other two things they're going to be doing are spot runs of some really popular Honda Civics. You got the Honda Civic Sear 2 and the Honda Civic VTI/ETI. Can be built either way. Those two sort of plug a gap, as those Hasegawa Civics are always really popular sellers. If you happen to have a chance and got some spare cash, buy 3-4 of them. Wait a year, and then you can sell them for about $50-$60 a pop, it seems, because that seems to be the going price for them on eBay anymore. These are going to sell for like $16 a piece. So, something to keep in mind when you're buying old out-of-production kits is that the market for them is created by what people are willing to pay for them, not what they're worth. Especially because, like these, they're coming back out. They were reissued about a year and a half ago. Prices were low. They went out of production. Prices went through the roof. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, they're worth $100 again. And like, no, they're not. They're the same kits they always were. So reboxes of those. Fujimi has a pile of reissues and one sort of new kit coming out. The new kit, and I'm going to use a lot of air quotes, new kit, is the old Mitsubishi Hino Super Dolphin dump truck. This is a sister kit to that 1/24 scale Mitsubishi Fuso car hauler, except this is done as a dump truck without a trailer. We may recall from the discussions we've had about these kits in the past that there were these kits were done as a tractor, as a dump truck, and then the car hauler parts were tooled up, and then the ART trucks and all the rest of that stuff. This is coming out as the dump truck version of that Hino, and whether or not it'll have the parts carried, silently, like they'll be grayed out on the instruction sheet. If you've seen any import vehicle, be it Revell of Germany or anything Japanese, there's always a parts runner layout, and there'll be stuff grayed out that'll say not for use or optional parts, stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see if this kit has the fifth wheel and all the stuff that would make it a tractor rather than just a dump truck, as it was sold with the car hauler kit, part of a larger set of kits that Mitsubishi was planning that ultimately never arrived because Mitsubishi went out of business. So that's sort of a new kit. Now, of course, it's a 1980s kit, and these I've been playing around with my Fuso rather, and it's not the greatest kit in the world. It's definitely going to take you back to the 1980s. But if you wanted a 1/24th scale Japanese truck, this is the only way to go, as most Japanese trucks, buses, vans, all that stuff like that are in 1/32nd scale. The reissue stuff that Fujimi is going to be putting out in November, their version is a really cheap curbside, really, really low parts content, like 20-30 parts. Volkswagen Golf GTI. Is it a coincidence that this is coming out the same month that Revell of Germany's is going to be hitting? No, it's not at all. You're also going to be getting the E30 BMW 325, also the E30 generation Alpina C1 2.3. Both of those are curbside kits, curbside kits, but also formerly motorized kits. You're going to see an Isuzu Bellet released. This is a reissue. It is being boxed as the 1800 GT and the 1600 GTR. I also believe, but won't know for sure until the kit comes out, because the machine translations is just really butchered what the kit description is everywhere. I believe this can also be built in both the older and newer year specification. Now, that was only like some grill parts and a few minor trim pieces, but I believe that you could build 4 different cars out of one model box. Pardon me, my voice still isn't all the way back. But like you can build either an 1800 GT or a 1600 GTR for sure. But I also believe you can build 2 different variations year-wise of either one of those cars. Now, there's only going to be parts, to build one car out of that box, because you have 4 choices of what that one car will be. There's also going to be a 2014 edition of the BMW Z4 GT3. I don't believe there's anything that's changed in this. The wheels might be different, but they might not be. Anybody who has any of these GT3 race cars realizes that the difference between the 2011 and 2013, at least the body-wise, was all done with decals. I believe they came out in 2012 originally, so they knew the body changes were coming and kind of niftily created the decal situation to solve the problem of having like tool a new front fascia for the kits. Now, if there could be anything about the 2014, is it different? I don't know. I'm not that into GT3 racing to be able to go, haha, that's different, and, or it's not there, and Fujibi screwed up, or whatever it will be. But the big thing for them that they're advertising is the fact they're going to have masking seals for the windows. So you decide whether or not that's, worth it to you. Because I believe I said all of these kits are more or less the same. The only difference between the 11 and 12 and the 13 kits are the wheels, though there are different wheels for each of those. But otherwise, the kits are identical. I believe there might be a seat difference as well between the two. I'd have to go look at the parts layout. But the differences don't exist if you buy one of the new ones, because the new kits have all of the old parts in them. Haha. And then lastly, that brings us to Aoshima, because Aoshima, of course, always has the big list. Their new stuff, the stuff that's being touted as new, although it's not really. You have the W300 JZS or Toyota Aristo late version. I believe there's a new set of decals here and like some new glass for like the front and rear. That was the only real difference between the Toyota Aristo, which of course would be the Lexus GS400. They did a kit of that way. The only difference between the early and the late was like a different set of headlights, and then some really minor trim pieces that can be done with a decal sheet. So there's nothing really new there. It's just tweaked. You also got the two 430 Cedric police kits. They're going into that the Abuni Dica Monado set. So these are going to be the unmarked car and the marked car. They're 430 Cedrics. They are the newly tooled from a year and a half ago now Cedrics. And basically what's new about these is going to be the wheels. I believe all of the police parts are going to be sourced from existing police parts that Aoshima already has on hand, but the wheels for both of these kits are going to be different. One's going to have like a set of 5-slot mag wheels, and the other one's going to have a set of what look like to be turbine wheels. So I don't know that they're necessarily purchasable for just the wheels, and I don't know if they actually intend to sell the wheels separately at some point. But that's the big difference, other than being, for this TV comic series, the wheels are the different pieces there. And they're also, from that series, going to be releasing the Super Z, which is a gull-wing Nissan Z car, and the RS1 Machine, the first version of 3 versions of the Machine that they did from that series. Straight run reissues here. They got the JZX100 Chaser Aero. This is the Aero package version of the JZX100 Chaser, Toyota Chaser that came out, I believe last year. So this is a reissue of that. You got a reissue of the Toyota Hilux pickup double cab 4-wheel drive. This is the factory stock version of the Toyota Hilux. This is not slammed. It is not jacked up on giant wheels. It is just a straight run of a 4-door Toyota Hilux. Vertex Ridge S15 Silvia. You got your Mitsubishi Evo 10 in the Rally Art spec. The Rally Art spec is interesting because it is the only one of the 4 or 5 Evo 10s that Aoshima did that has left-hand drive parts in it. C33 Laurel Medalist Club S. This is a curbside kit, but it has an engine insert. The A31 Cefiro Atessa Cruising specification. Again, another curbside motorized chassis kit that has an engine insert. You have to cut the hoods out of both those yourself. You got the Car Boutique Club A86 Truno. This is a curbside kit. The only Trunos that have engines are the ones from the initial D series. Keep that in mind. Now you could put, if you have an initial D, engine sitting around, you could put it in there, but it doesn't come with one. You got the Mode Parfum GRS 182 Crown Royal, the Admiration Creator Crown Majesta. Those are VIP cars. You have the Silk Blaze MSAS Toyota Alphard, the fabulous MSAS Toyota Alphard, and the fabulous 2007 Hiace Super GL. All of those are VIP vans. Then you have the Celica 1600 GT Best Car Vintage kit coming back out, just a catalog filler, although it is kind of ironic that it's coming out right before the this special limited edition release of the Hasegawa 1600 GT. The drift parts and the sports compact parts both came into reissue this morning. We'll actually cover that next week. And then you have 4 sets of wheels that were in the Rays Wheel Series. They are the Racing Heart CR, pre-painted in gunmetal, the Volk Racing CE28Ns, pre-painted in titanium silver, and the Volk Racing TE37s, pre-painted in white. So that, guys, is what is there. We're starting to get a list for December. We'll, add to it as we find out. Fujimi should be announcing their new kits beginning of next week. And then, of course, there's this Hobby Expo thing that's being done in Yokohama on Sunday. I know Aoshima will be announcing some new product there, as well as I believe Ebro is going to be there, although I don't know if they're going to necessarily announce anything. And then, we move into first quarter 2015 stuff in the next video. And, of course, first quarter 2015, there's always a model show, a big hobby show in Japan. And you also have a big hobby show over in Germany, which is usually where we find out what Revell of Germany plans to do for the entirety of 2015. It's where Meng announced the F350 kit last year. It's where Ebro announced the Renault 4L and Forgane last year. So for first time in a while, with these new manufacturers, Heller and Ebro combined to work on that 4L. And so whether or not Heller is back or will have more sort of co-working with Ebro or what, this is first one of the Nuremberg toy fairs in a long time I've actually been looking forward to. Because it'd be interesting to see what comes out, because, Revell of Germany only has a couple of more tools they can pull out of their heinies if they're trying to compete with all of those best 80s tool European cars that Tamiya did that are, 25, 30 years old now. Like maybe the Fiat 500, and then the Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, and that's pretty much it. That's, we're out of tools. You got to come up with something new. So I'm interested to see what those something news will be out of the European market. But, of course, that's all stuff in January. We've got to worry about getting through the end of the year first, surviving the holidays and all that happiness. So, guys, until we talk either next week, if you don't watch our 2015 speculation video, or until we speculate about the first quarter of 2015, we'll see you on the other side.